Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala khairul mursaleen. Muhammadin al-Nabi al-Ummah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ijma'in. Amma ba'd, yaqulullahu ta'ala fil Quran al-Kareem. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu tasliman. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Well, for this class we have been dealing with a little handouts. Next week I'll bring more, inshallah. But we had been dealing with the roots of these flyers. This one is from August 2014. Armed intruders attack Masjid al-Islam. Okay, this is the very latest one. Sabotage, death threats against Imam Musa, and now grand larceny of Masjid al-Islam Council. That was in January. October 2015, Imam Abdul Alim Musa received death threats. October 16th, Imam Musa assaulted in Masjid al-Islam. That's good. June 3rd, 2014, Imam Abdul Alim Musa facing death threats. September the 3rd, which relates to September the 2nd, 2014, Imam Musa arrested and held in jail for 15 hours. And we've been relating to these articles a lot because there's a special science behind that. And I'm going to read from Victory of Islam over the Shah, Victory of Islam over the Combined Forces of American Zionism. I think that program, this is a redone flyer. It has February the 2nd, 2015, about a year ago. So it has the standard ayats that we love from Surah Taha, that's Surah 20, 25 to 41. And it's talking about Musa alayhi salam. And remember, in our lives, there's no more prophets coming after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's Khatam and Nabiyin. Khatam is a seal or a lock. Khatam, when you close the envelope, you can't put nothing else in it because it's closed. You know what I mean? Okay. Kafata and Lil-Nas means that he is a messenger or he is a Rasul to humanity. Kafata and Lil-Nas. He's the messenger to all people. Okay, so, but now if you notice in the Quran, and we do this, we try to do this a lot, is that the behavior patterns of oppressor and the oppressed in the Quran are the same. Generation after generation, whether it's the people of Shuaib, whether it's the people during Noah's time, whether it's the people during any other prophet's time, they had the same basic attitude, the same basic arrogance. They were all steeped in arrogance because of their historical leadership and rulership. And that caused them to feel godly-like, that we run in this show. So when we come up against a system ourselves, especially from an Islamic position, that means that we will encounter the same basic things that the people did in olden times. That is the prophets and the doers of good. As-Sabiqun, As-Salihin, Wa-Shuhada, and Nabiyin. So you're going to encounter the same thing as the Salihin, the good people, and Nabiyin, the prophets. As-Sabiqun, the truthful, those people who are authentic and truthful. And a lot of the things that we have dealt with, we know what they are based on certain realities. One is Ayn al-Yaqeen. You see it with your eye. Ayn is eye. So Ayn al-Yaqeen means it's something that you see with your eye. You know it's true because you have seen it. Now, if you've seen that pattern 100 times or 500 times, you definitely have seen it. White folks say 80% of our experience comes from our eyes. You know, we see out there, oh, that's a tree, that's a telephone line, we see it. You know what I mean? So, Ayn al-Yaqeen, something that we see. Ilm al-Yaqeen is ilm, knowledge. I know I have a brother, I have so many brothers, and I have one sister. I already know that. I know that because I just know that from the environmental circumstances. I know that we in this room right now are all basically African Americans. We might be mixed with a little something else, but when you do our mix up, you're going to find out that we all probably at least 80% Negro, you know, somewhere along that line. That's just the way that is. We know that. Why? We've been here all the time. We know all our people. We just know that. We know that. Okay? Haqq al-Yaqeen is reality. How do you know? You know that's reality because of experience also. That's Haqq is the sure reality, you know. Haqq al-Yaqeen. You are certain of these things because of your experience. A lot of the things that we've been doing, we had to raise it to the level where the people could see it, so they could know it, and so they could experience it. Or we would sound crazy. The stuff we talk about, if the people, you know what I mean, didn't see it, they could think anything. Like, now, see, like, our position is a model. Did somebody turn that way up, or is it? Is it?
I haven't touched the thing.
Huh?
I ain't touched nothing.
Nobody touched that?
Uh-huh.
Well, this is where I put it there. It's okay. It'll maybe turn off in a while, inshallah. I don't want to burn up. Burning up puts you to sleep, and I talk so long that I don't want to kill nobody, get a case. But anyway, we had to, this flyer will give a little idea of what we're talking about. In spite of Steve Emerson, Sean Hannity, Daniel Pipes, the NSA, FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, and a host of other clowns, Masjid al-Islam in East Oakland is the only independent masjid that stands for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala against American Zionism. And this will be on February the 2nd, that was last year, 2015. Number one, Imam Musa, inshallah, will share case study after case study about how to practice psychological warfare. In other words, at that program, the idea is to show people. The program before that was psychological guerrilla warfare has worked. Many people have seen that. Okay, now we want to educate the people in detail. Okay, we didn't get the chance to educate them in detail because our dear friends walked in hollering again, and now this time my friends was there, and it just so happens that even though some of them was players like Diamond Jim, they was boxers before, and some of our other friends was boxers too, and everybody wanted to break them up in little pieces. But we said no, don't worry about that. We passed out the flyer, we'll get it out again, you know. So they came in hollering and just talking crazy. I think this is the one where the second time, the fat lady, she kind of punched me in the side a couple of times. They were trying to get me mad. Provoke. And they had been doing it. I mean, they were desperate By then, now you could imagine, look what they did. They go into your account, they come and get you arrested in the masjid. This is hilarious. Now, remember, we talked about this way before it happened. And on the note, it said in 2012 or 13 that Masjid al-Islam would be closed. We hadn't even worked up to this yet. But we was in a dilemma. We have to get our message out to the world. How are we going to get it? We're trying to figure out, remember we talked about, well, we're going to go to Australia. You got to have a reason to go. You can't just say we're some poor Negroes in the Southeast trying to do such and such. You can do it, but it won't grab nobody. We've been planning to go back to South Africa since we came back in 2013. We had a wonderful trip, went all over the country, the best trip we ever had. Okay, but we're in a dilemma. We believe we have the message for the people at this time. Okay, through our life experience, we are now in a position to show the people, all of the Muslims in America and outside, you can stand up to America and not only survive, but you can thrive. And here we are as live proof. Okay? And people tell us, but you don't do this, you don't do that. I said, that ain't nothing. I don't go by what we don't have. If I did that, I'd be sad. I go down the list of what I do have. So, man, I got this, I got that. I can walk, I can stand up, I can sit down. A lot of people can't do that. And we have $4, $5. But you broke, they stole your money. I said, that ain't nothing. That's what Allah wanted for us. See, today we'll ease into some of the subtleties of this Islam. But here's the thing that we have to educate the people on the Islamic movement in North America. We have to have the proof and the evidence. We have to have a paper trail. We have to be able to prove everything that we're saying. No allegations, no nothing. Only written proof. Facts. This is facts. This happened. That happened. Okay. Mukhtar said sometime, you stealing money from the believers, you know. I said, you got an account with all that money in it. I said, well, how do you know I got an account with money in it? Unless you're the one that broke into the house over there. Because everything he said, the first meetings, was all stuff that was on my paper. Nobody would have no bit. And he was saying it on purpose to make me mad. Yeah, I broke into the house. Yeah. I took all of your stuff. And I have all of your paperwork like this, with how you think and how you, I said, y'all, the policeman had that from day one. And I make sure they get a copy all the time. You know, that's how I trick them. They sit there and they read, ooh, this is what the nigga thinking. You know what I mean? And well, I put it there, I make sure they get a copy. I make sure they get a copy. And I give them 100% of everything. But see, to win, we don't need to shade it, but 3 to 5%. And they can't tell what that 3 to 5% is. See, we give them the reality, just like what we're talking about now. This is actually what we do. But he don't know what we're shaving at. Let me continue. I'll be here too long. College of Strategic and Islamic Studies will give you hands-on experience on how to make U.S. agents and collaborators expose themselves. Everybody is exposed themselves. Just some of the stuff, right? We ain't had nothing to do with writing this stuff. This is the general knowledge. This stuff has happened. Okay? They have exposed themselves. Clearly. And it's been out now, some of it a year, some of it 2 years, some of it 3, but it's been out long enough so people can check. It's all around Oakland and it's all around the world. special session on design fitna. What it is and how it works. Design fitna. Literally everything here we set down, we have talked. There's people here that we have talked about this way before it happened. It's design fitna. You got to remember, what we had to do was adjust to our environment. Now, we've been doing this since the drug dealing days, adjusting to the environment. This is the way they're treating you, what you're going to do about it. Okay? When we opened the Masjid in 1980, boop, they sent me right back to the penitentiary, and I read why I was violated parole. And it said, your parole is violated because you beat your wife and you was trying to get her to get a loan on a house that we gave them so you could open a masjid. Okay. Now my sons was there. They was 9, 10, 12. They grown. They know. And the parole officer and the white folks was there telling my ex-wife, oh, you got to say this, and you got to say that. And they think that these niggas is out in the street all the time. And the way they run to me, yeah, Dad, they would say, they say that, oh, that ain't enough. You got to boost it up. When I went to parole, I was there. 2% of it was true. I just gave my wife a house that's now worth, well, it was worth $1 million. The lowest estimate was $800,000. That's a nice house. Okay. In those days, it's probably worth only $300,000 or $400,000. But you got about $400,000. She was gonna get a loan, so I popped her upside the head. Which is what I should do. I said, don't get no loan. That's all you got. You got a house. We bought that house for $27,000 in the 60s. And now it's been exploded and you got a nest egg. You having money in the house. Don't borrow on the house. She borrowed on the house when I went back to jail. But she wanted me to go back to jail so I could borrow on the house. So she could borrow on the house. It's okay. I'm used to dealing. That's the way stuff go in Jahiliyyah. So, my sons was listening to all of that. They say, when I came home, they said, yeah, Dad. I said, you have to tell me. I said, I could read the parole, why my parole was violated. I was violated because I wanted to make her get a loan. It was exactly opposite. I don't believe in getting no loans. I hate loans. I said, don't get no loan. You know, that's cash money, and it's increasing, and since then it exploded. What happened? People listen to white folks all the time. A few years ago, during the big down, she got probably the 10th loan on it to get another house, and that was 2005. I said, good God Almighty. So you never buy when stuff is high like that. You don't do stuff like that. The next year, whatever it was only a few months later. Bam! You think the bottom fell out here. The bottom didn't fall out here. The bottom fell out in California and Nevada. You remember in Vegas? Remember them houses, man? Them people was paying $500,000 and $600,000 for them houses, and what's the name had one for around $300,000, right? Hey, in a few days after that, them boys was down to $100,000. They took the biggest hit you ever seen, and California was next.
After the market crash, yeah.
Yeah, so the market fell out. So I was trying to help her keep up. I said, I'm gonna help you a little bit. But y'all get in so much debt that I can't afford to solve this problem overnight. We're going to have to work on it a little bit at a time. So I help in a nice way. The white folks come and say, no, get a quick sale, get a this. Now she living out in the woods somewhere in a excuse me, in some it's a nice place, but it's almost an old folks home. Like, not an old folks home, but you know, them condominiums and stuff like that, where everybody walk their little dog around and there ain't much noise and stuff like that. That's okay, it's fine with me. I don't care, but I mean, nobody want to listen to the Negro. Our people, they will listen to that white man if he tell them this is what to buy. I'm not against girls. I like girls, but they don't listen to a Negro male have to just do what he got to do. I'm doing what I know what to do, and I'm not. It's not that I'm not listening to y'all, but I know how the world is working. That's Hak al Yakin. I done seen it, tasted it. And y'all listen, anything he tells you to do, y'all will do it. Am I misinterpreting what I've experienced over the historical period? If I am, just raise your hand, yes.
You know, the hadith with Umar, Umar said that you should listen to your wife in terms of what she has to say.
Right.
But when you make your decision, do the exact opposite of what she's talking about. That's what Umar said. I'm just saying. You know.
Well, you know, they used to call Umar the Great. I don't know how they call him. Anyway, business-wise, if you're lucky to get money, you keep it if you listen to your own advice more than... Now, there's a couple of stupid Negroes that they get drunk and they mess up everything for their family. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the standard, good, hard-working Negro that wants to save money and put stuff away for their family so they can... Anyway, our situation was and still is, right now our situation is we're moving into the situation of explaining to the world that they can do anything they want to do if they trust in Allah and put their affairs in the hands of Allah. That's our message to the Muslims. Okay, we had to live through these experiences on the surface so everybody could see to prove it to the people. Because people always ask for a sign. If they ask prophets for a sign, you know what they're going to ask for, a Negro. Nigga, you need concrete truth. That ain't going to help much, but you got, that's why I have I said, see, this is what it says here. It's not what I say, this is what they say. The people, the world knows. I said, this goes all over the world. If it was a lie, people got a chance to challenge this. Right? They already had plenty of chance to challenge this. They had a chance to prove that it's incorrect. Just like our programs, when we put our flyers out, they're out in the public. We're not whispering. If it's wrong, people got an opportunity. They can have a counter flyer. They can say, them people over there be lying. And here's why. Right? Okay. That's the thing of making things clear. And that's what the Quran calls us as Kitabul Mubin. It is Al-Bayina. It is a clear explanation. Okay, so the pro-Zionist Negroes attack Imam Musa. Why they attack the Masjid? That was the perspective that we were at, and this is where we've always been heading, and this is where we are now. Is that Oakland is Oakland and DC working simultaneously. Here's where we are. We have, Oakland is a total skeleton of what we are moving toward. We got as many pieces of property in Oakland as we do there. They're all paid for and everything is ready to go. Post-Ramadan, inshallah, we're going to open up before that, and maybe way after Ramadan, we're also going to make world tours. We got now the storyline. See, brothers Tufel and I have been talking about serialization of all this for a long time. It is serialized already. Just like the old serials used to come on TV, just like the movies start wars, one after another. It's a serial. Our activities, we had to serialize it. And it was a reason for it to stop going on TV and everywhere for a reason. Right? Because if we was putting everything on TV all the time, then the people wouldn't do this. Okay? So we had to trap the system and trap the people. That's basically what it is, a big trap. And we told them what we're going to do. We're going to, you surrounding us, but we're going to surround you. We're going to encircle the encirclers. We said that all the time. But they didn't know how we was going to do it. Now, whether we knew how we were going to do it, that's what you have to find out. Whether, this is a big deal, whether we know exactly what we're doing or whether the powerful element is tafweed. Tafweed, delegating your affairs to Allah. And then being happy with what you get. Okay, this is a very serious issue. Why? I remember for 2 or 3 years in a row, years ago, I read Maulana Maududi's Tafhimul Quran and all the footnotes. And so that meant I read about 4 hours a day. And I kept notes of it, and I did it 2 or 3 times. I definitely did it 2 times. Because after you finish Ramadan reading it, man, your head is just full for about a month. Man, you got Sharia and everything, because it's very comprehensive. And in certain things, he put Sharia in there, he put a lot, so you get a comprehensive, for us, right? We get a good comprehensive feeling about this. Then we dealt with other tafsirs too. I even read Yusuf Ali, all the notes and everything. And now, but here's the thing. You know, about subconscious mind, you can't keep all that stuff in your conscious mind, right there in the front, so it goes into you. And after you do it over and over again, as you're acting on conscious and subconscious things. Now, this is using the white folks' technique, what they call, you know, they say that knowledge is like an iceberg. 10% of the iceberg is above water, and 90% of it is below water. Okay, so they say 10% of your conscious, your mind is conscious, and the other 90% is subconscious. If you are studying Quran and Hadith, history and all of it, just like the Quran says, over and over again, all that stuff is settling down in your, up in your conscious, a little bit, but in your subconscious mind. When you begin to act on the Quran, when you begin to act on your Islam, not only is your conscious mind clicking, these are all conscious notes. Da, 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 da. We do it all the time, got stacks up all throughout life. Okay. Then we put this stuff in a book, right? Then we put it on tape, on CD. If the white man steal this, so what? We got the CDs, DVDs, and we got the book, which they have stole stuff, so it don't make no difference, because we got the other stuff. I can listen to 1987 tape, and da-da-da-da-da, and all the picture of everything. I can just read notes off and the notes will say what I said on the tape. You see what I mean? I know how it got, so they can't do nothing about it. There's a critical issue about action and drawing in the system. Remember we did on strategic retreat, all that stuff, and I have to tell the truth and be realistic, all that stuff, we write all these notes and do all this thinking all day long, all the time. But the critical action is from tafweed, delegating to Allah. Because the Negro is not skillful enough to weave this whole thing together and make it come out like that. It just ain't possible. But we acting like it's possible. We tell the white man, yeah, we tricked you. Here you are, cracker. Look at you, you damn fool. You done did all of this stuff on surface and we told you this is what we're going to do. Well, that's psychological warfare. We're following the principles. But the execution of it is from Allah. Ain't no, but the execution of it is from Allah. Ain't nowhere in the world you can sit back and say, now, you can do part of it. The white man, here's what he thinks, because here's what we told the snitches. Here's that, that, that. You can do that. No problem. Okay, now, Allah know what you want, and Allah know where you're going, and Allah know where you need to be. You know, Allah know where you need to be. We bought all that property in Oakland, man, that was 15, 20 years almost. Long time ago. The property in D.C., we bought this property. I think the last property we bought was a lot right over there. That's 10 years ago, at least. Okay? Why would we have all this stuff and not using it? Because at a certain time, Allah want us to use it. That time is now. So, I'm going to skip a little bit. We have wanted to show and explain to people what you can do Islamically if you trust in Allah. Okay, now here's the case. The case is this. The case is that when we make a call now, we're not just calling the Muslims around town. That's not our call. Our call is to humanity. Our call is the very one we started with, long time ago. And what the Quran says, وَأَصْلُ قَوْلًا مَّا دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلُوا صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. We say it all the time. What's the best speech? To call people da'a ila Allah, invite people to Allah. Right? Work righteous deeds and say, I'm a Muslim. إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. All of this leads up to what we was talking about a little bit before, about white trash and about all of this stuff. Okay, the world is an unmitigated upside downness. They have clowns like Don, but Don is something out of, the white folks probably put him up to do what he's doing because they do studies all day on where everybody's at. When they had Obama go before the white lady, that was because we want the nigger out there now. That's the way it was. And we all knew that, but they just putting him out there because ain't no coon can raise, no, in them days, $600 and something million, and in $1 billion, what Negro can raise $1 billion to spend on an election? Let's be realistic about this. Right? And he ain't got no contact in the Negro community. He ain't never went on no march. He ain't never had no fast. He ain't never did nothing. Right? He don't know, but the only Negroes he knows is Reverend Wright's church, and he dumped them. Right? Okay. So why is he there? He's there to do a certain job. Because they study where everybody's at, and they give them what they can deal with. This Bernie Sanders clown is just there to bring in all the young disenfranchised white kids and liberal Negroes to get behind Bernie. Barney is to boost everybody up, and he'll turn it over to Miss Hillary. Simple as that. That's what it all is. Everybody knows that. The Green Party, everybody talks about that's what it's for. So they already know. Is it working? Of course it's working. Barney's on Miss Hillary's behind. Barney is breathing down her back. Barney ain't doing nothing but getting the whole people's expectations up so they can win the election. Then, just in case, we got Don to help him. Now, Don gonna double cross him because it's going a little better than he thought. Here's the glitch. White folks did their study, and you know they study good. You notice they got somebody getting shot in every theater every other week, and they said we got to take guns. Well, who do they want to take guns from? From niggas? Absolutely not. From white folks. They miscalculated on the despondency of white folks. So you remember, they was before white trash. That is, almost in the South, most of the white folks was white trash. But they was better than niggas because they was white trash. Okay? But the other white folks, you think back 20 years ago, if you saw a nigga begging on the street and a white man, would a white man give another white man money? Heck no, because you white sucker. You got a whole system working for you, and you out here begging. They give a nigga some money, because they know the nigga, we know what we're doing to you, so here's $2 or 50 cents. But a cracker, I used to watch him, you know, in Berkeley and other places, well, white folks wouldn't get no other. That was back then. They give them money now, but they didn't back in the old days. Why? Because white folks, you don't have a reason to be out here. You're a lazy bum, and you can do it. You white, and you all right. You can get anything. You can get stuff. All you got to do is get off your behind and get it. Okay, that's the way they felt. Industry been gone 30 years, right? All the big states, Ohio, Illinois, California, man, factories been closed. The Rust Belt, they've been called the Rust Belt for over 20 years. So now, don't talk about the South, you have, again, white trash. And the other white folks don't care nothing about it. And the system don't care nothing about it. And when they need them the most to fight their wars, they send them overseas. What do? Get them blowed all up, and they come back here, and they can't get a ticket. They land in the street. They can't get nothing, right? They have to have Wounded Warriors program to give them what the government should give them. White folks is mad. Okay, so Don is a high-class white man. His daddy had more money than the people of the whole state of New York almost. But why is he out talking like a white trash cracker? Because that's what they want, and he know it. Right? And they can't do nothing to him. The more they mess with him, the more people like him. Because they say, them big white folks, remember the 99% of the 1%? That stuff kicked in. And poor white folks, you gotta remember, poor niggas will sit on a bench and starve to death, but poor white folks won't. They'll kill everybody. They don't play that. It's hard. Why you think the Europeans, they had a revolution over here? Do you know King George wasn't doing technically nothing? He had a little tea tax. Just a little tax. That's like we get tickets driving through white folks' area all the time. That's all he was doing. He wasn't slaughtering white folks over here. He wasn't slaughtering George and them all around town. King George was over there minding his own business. He just said, just a little tax. I said, no, sir, we ain't doing nothing. You don't get nothing out of us. Sucker over there, right? These white folks here, King George was a mercy. We wish we had King George here now. Treating us, niggas, like George was treating white folks then. Just a little tax. But other than that, we can go on about our business. We can have a good gambling house, we can run the street, and he don't want nothing else out of us but a little tax. And he can't chase you down. He ain't gonna chase you down and put no gun to your head, give me that tax money. He just gonna say, you gotta pay it if you come this way, if you go that way on that road, toll road, you gotta pay it. Right? Shoot, we wish we had King George over here right now. You know what we would be in? The Book of Negroes. You ever heard of the Book of Negroes? Anybody? The Book of Negroes was the Negroes that fought for King George, that fought for the British. They had a whole list, this long story, it's called the Book of Negroes. It's a book, you can get it in the library, it's called the Book of Negroes. It's the list of the Negroes that fought for King George instead of fighting for the colonists. Because remember, King George said, we want y'all to have some freedom. We don't want y'all to be working, picking cotton all the time. So that made sense to the Negroes, right? You fight for me a while and you free. You know, anyway, here's where we are. We have to go into the Quran. These are the verses of the book which makes things clear. We rehearse to these some of the story of Moses and Pharaoh in truth for people who believe. Truly Pharaoh elated himself in the land and broke up its people into sections, depressing a small group among them. Their sons he slew, but he kept alive the females, for he was indeed a maker of mischief. We indeed wished to be gracious to those who are being depressed in the land, and to make them leaders, and to make them heirs, to establish a firm place for them in the land, and to show Pharaoh, Haman, and all their hosts that their hands are very things against which they were making precautions. So this is what Allah wanted for us. He wanted to be gracious to the Mustadafin. That's us. Those who are being oppressed in the land. It's like daif, weak. Those who are weak and oppressed in the land. Allah wanted to be gracious to us, and He wanted to give us aim, that's imamate, leadership. And warith is to inherit. He wanted us to be the warithin, and to inherit a good, strong place on earth. So now, you know how we're going to read the Quran, and that's talking to us. And what did Pharaoh do? He broke up the people into groups and sects and Crips and Bloods and everybody. That's what he do. All societies do that. You go to see the movies, what's the one, the new one, the latest one. The first one was Divergent, then they had Insurgent, then they all had factions, right? Factions. They have factions, and they have, this is, you the upper class, you the upper middle class, you the middle class, you the lower middle class, and you are just done for, brother. Well, here's the thing. This thing now is shifting, and it's our duty to educate the people on that includes white folks. It's our duty now to call white folks to reality. Not only Islamic truth, but general social truth. That we are moving from racial warfare. This is not racial. It is class struggle. Same thing we talked about in communism, right? See, in Europe, it wasn't race because everybody is white. It was class. We have to inform white people that's going with Trump, you right. You are 100% right. It is them 1% up there, which of course are all white, that's sending you to war, that's making the war material and cooking up more wars to make more money, they gonna make money no matter what happens.
Sending your jobs over.
Sending your job, you tell me a nigga that sent your job overseas. You show me one. That's what we tell him. Personally, I'm getting back to, we've been on reasonable relationship with white folks, you know, patriotic movement and all that. We've always been, for 25, no, it's been 30 years. We've been on, remember all them books that we got? Those was from white folks. Trail of the Serpent, you know, State Secrets, all of that, the Zionist Connection, all those conspiracy books we had, those came from white folks. All them books was white folks. And when we ordered our first big shipment, they called me on the phone. Hey, brother. I said, well, who is this? Basically said, this is the white folks that sending me all them books. See, you go in somebody's library, right? You can kind of get a feel where they at, right? Looking through their books. When we ordered them books, they knew we knew what where we was at and where the world is. By the books we ordered from them. They said, yes, brother. And they printed, if you look at that little red Muslim book of names, 25, 30 years ago, they printed that. The white folks did. Yes, they sure did. So you can say what you want. The white man ain't, that other white man ain't never printed. The Jews ain't never printed the Muslim book of names. So our call is to humanity. And our call is, this is not a racial issue. It's a class issue. It's the 1% that's causing all the trouble in the world. And you reaping all the benefits of the trouble. Wars, no safety net. You can work till your tongue hang out of your mouth and you can't get no help at the hospital. They'll throw you white behind out. Right? That's why Trump is going up. Okay? He's a hustler, and he can't do nothing about it either. But it's our duty to invite people to the truth. So I'm going to try to catch up with Don. If he talk to the Negro, I would say, Don, no, here's a line. Don, you got a shot at it. I know you're not from them poor crackers, but look, all them crackers is dependent on you. Now, you can be Don, the dumb president, like all them other dumb folks, or you can be like what God made you, Don the Great. You got to talk to the man like this, you know, Don the Great, yeah, man. That's good. That's your suit, man. You're Don the Great. But you got to do big stuff in order to get there. What I got to do to be great? Well, you got to do great stuff, Don. You got to really, you can do it. You know you can do it. You can trick all the other white folks, all the millionaires out of their millions to keep you a billionaire. And then all of your business go broke and you sell your name. Donald Trump, you put and get millions of dollars just by using your name, right? So you slick, you can pull it off. But you gotta have to mix a lot of good in here, Don. Because remember, you're trying to be Don the Great, not Don the Big. You don't need no more money. Remember when history, they go back in history, Don, they don't say the greatest man in the 21st century was Don the Great. Don't that sound good? Yes, it do. Good God Almighty. Come on with some more. Now, how are we going to get this to work? Well, look, Don, I'm telling you, if you think I'm lying, if he give me an interview, that's exactly what I'm going to tell him. Why? Because that's what he made up of. Don the Great. Now, Don, you know them Jews. You ain't no Jew. You are 100% cracker. You ain't got a drop of Jew in you, Don. Tell the truth. That's right. I'm a fool. You know how they feel about you and me. Forget about me. It's you. You want them news telling people what to do? No, you know we don't like that. So you stick with me. I'm going to give you the info. Here's how you become Don the Great. You say, with the power America has left, you're going to fix the Middle East. You're going to tell them, why should we give money to those people? What do they give us? Remember, that's what he said. So you said it, Don. You said you're a deal maker. Why would you send $4 billion a year that you don't get nothing back with war? And why would you go to war with somebody else start a war and then they bring you to fight? You ain't going for that, Don. Heck no, I ain't going for that. Now, who you said that? You know, you know what Yahoo is. No. You think I won't do it? You got me wrong. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to contact Donald Trump's people. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to say, I just want to talk to Don a little while. If he comes, you know. If he talks, fine.
When Don said he gonna remain neutral, they pissed off at that. All he says he gonna remain, he ain't going one way. They pissed. I mean,
they are burning up, man. They don't like Don for that. Neutral? What you mean neutral? Everybody else come here, yes, we are 100% for Israelis no matter what they do. Yeah. Right? That's our job. The only reason people, look, there's a man ready to pull off something. You know how he thinks. You use that for this to help save humanity. That's what you can't lose nothing. You can say, I'm not talking to them niggas. And say, well, forget you then, sucker. If I come to the place, he say, you a nigger. I said, of course I'm a nigga. What are you, Imam Musa? Who you think? A Russian or something? I don't talk to niggas. We'll bump you then, cracker. That's all. I didn't know animosity. They ain't know nothing. If he arrogant, so what? 10 minutes, Don the Great. I'm telling you. That's what people, you may think we're a bunch of buffoons. You think with the Russian policy that nobody's paying attention to what we say here? Tell the truth. Let's think about it a minute. Where did you ever hear exactly what Putin did except here? That's what Putin did. Tell the truth. I don't care whether it don't seem like it. Look, Trump is not doing the Donald Trump. He's doing the Sabiqun. Right? He's drawing up all the energy and everything. Don't nobody talk about nobody but him. Right? No matter, they can spend $1 billion, Poe Jeb spent probably $200,000 million, and ain't nobody know who he is. All Don do is walk in and that's all they talk. Tell the truth. You hear anything about anybody else?
They say Don got $2.5 billion
right.
worth of free publicity.
Free publicity. And he getting more now. The people, it ain't, but I looked at the demonstration to block off the street in Arizona. Them streets is wide. That ain't gonna stop nobody from going to the stadium. All you do is go around. All the people now, they blocking one side of the street. They just going the wrong way and going on to the stadium. But it's all over the world. So if don't nobody come get in the stadium, Don gonna talk to the 10 people there. They gonna blast it all over the world, right? He done already won by the people going in this blocking the street.
Because now they mad.
Yeah. The people is mad, but the world is saying, the other white folks are saying that ain't fair.
Right.
Bernie Sanders sent them white folks over there, the Negroes and other coons.
In Chicago.
Yeah, to mess up his stuff with Bernie's stickers on. So he said, that's unfair. They come over and they mess the pole down and just over here minding their own business. But we're just trying to talk white folks' business. And as you know who they are, come over here. doing this to us, and you say, oh, this is terrible. This is how you treat the poor Don. Up.
Don supposed to have a plate of power on him.
Yeah.
You know, they used to always come to his church.
Right.
He never spend no money on campaign.
Right.
They come to his church, and he tell everybody come to church, he said, y'all here? Tell everybody else that ain't here in the neighborhood what you heard today.
Right.
And so them 5 or 10 people come to hear Don,
Right.
when they leave, they go back and tell everybody, and hey, Don.
We're in a global situation. They done already made us world famous, right? Okay, they done made us world famous, right? We have to use this for good. That's what Allah wanted for us. We wanted this, but we wanted other things too. Allah slowed down what was unnecessary for us to do our particular job. And everywhere they tried to cut us off, remember their job was isolate them, cut them off so nobody knows nothing about them. I was telling my family, they were saying, well, you don't have anybody down there. I said, yeah, but there's no Negro in the United States that's been in the centerfold of the biggest newspaper, conservative newspaper in Iran. So the picture's there. Actually, the front page picture is a picture on the front page, and then the centerfold. And it has to be the best things that Iranians heard, or they wouldn't put it there. And if you read the reviews, everybody wants more. And if you read what the Rahbar said this morning, that's what he said. Rouhani said, we got to make the economy go this way. The Rahbar said, we have to maintain our resistance economy. And that's what we said in the article, that it's the resistance economy. The Americans sanctioning Iran made Iran the only independent country in the region. It is independent. It produces all of the stuff. Every building they build in Saudi Arabia, the South Koreans or somebody, or the Americans, Bechtel build it. Iran build their own buildings. They have their own satellites. They own everything because the people cut them off. You can't buy nothing, so you have to learn how to make everything for yourself. That makes you independent. So now what they say, we don't want Iran to use any more increase in their missile technology. Why? Because if you watch their missile technology, it's been on a roll. And a few years ago, they got the weather satellites out there, and now they've been having rockets for over a decade that can hit Israel.
The drones they got.
They got drones. They had drones, and then they had drones already, but they stole the white folks' drones. Nobody, the Russians, nobody was able to steal a drone. All they did was program that boy, and they showed the drone. They stole the drone from the white folks. They just got on their thing, however they did it, and they said, okay, you land over here in Iran. And the drone landed in Iran. They got all the pictures, everything, and they took it apart piece by piece and put a number on it, and then they made those exact pieces, just like the Russians did with the B-29 in 1945. 3 B-29s, which was the highest technology in those days. Super Fortress, the one that dropped the atomic bomb. Where did the B-17? 3 of them got off track and they landed in Russia. Russia kept them, took one apart piece by piece and made the exact part. And when they had their next big demonstration, they had 4 B-29s flying. They said, we only lost 3. Where did the other one come from? They made an exact copy. That's what the Iranians did with the drone. Reverse engineering. They already had their own drones, but now they got the latest white folks' drone. They had to be slit to pipe into its communication system and tell it to Iran. The white folks first said our drone crashed in Iran. They said, no, just ain't crashed, look here. They put it on display. They say there's a scratch on it. And by the way, If it had crashed, all the movies on it would be all scratched up, right? Here's everything that was on it. Here's it taking off from Kuwait, flying over here, flying over there, right? That's the way we are. We're independent. We're independent from everybody, and remember, with all of this stuff, I'll move toward a close because there's too much to say right now. We had to expose everything in California. We had to expose everything around the world. The Muslims around the world are exposed. Nobody care, impact, nobody. Call us on the phone about nothing that happened. This is in Crescent. Everybody knows about it, right? You look on the internet and Facebook, you see, right? If you see a Negro meeting with all the leaders, all the presidents and all of that, right? Ain't nobody else doing it. Why would they pretend like it's not happening? Why would they pretend like, oh, we don't exist? That's what they're trying to say, right? They're trying to say, we don't exist. Nobody's listening to us, but everybody is following the prescription, the international prescription. I'll move toward a close with this. See, there are certain things. Number one, we've been knowing that we've been monitored in detail for decades. If you take the KGB and the Chinese intelligence, they study all the other intelligence networks. They just do. Okay. If they say As-Sabiqun, Masjid al-Islam is #1 on the list for everything, the Russians going to say, what's so important about a nigger in the Southeast? Right? What are they watching, spending all this time watching these Negroes? Do you think they're going to send somebody to watch and record? Of course they are. Suppose you hit the nail on the button for 10, 15 years in a row internationally. If you tell them, ain't going to be no Arab Spring, this is why. No, wait, so ain't no Arab Spring. The nigga said that. Okay, they're going to study everything else you say. Pretty soon, they're going to keep score. See, they're intelligent. They're not arrogant about the information. If it comes from a monkey, they say the monkey is right 10 times in a row. If it comes from an eel, they say the eel is right 10 times in a row. Right? And the intellectual cracker is never right. If they say they're going to get tricked in Afghanistan and get the stew whooped out of them, which that's what it said in 2001, right down there. Oh, that ain't nothing. Iraq, you're in big trouble now, but they fly in big and bad. And what happened? They get whooped bad. The other people going to say, well, what else? Then they go back and they say, 1984, wow, this is the same nigga that said in Canada, at a big conference there, that the Russian bear, that bear meat is halal. All you got to do is hang it upside down and drain the blood out of it. That's what we said about Russia. We said the Afghanis was going to beat the Russians in 1984. That they was going to hang him upside down and let the blood drain out of him. That's what happened to the Russians. Everybody heard it. They say something is going on here. We don't know whether it's clairvoyance. We don't know whether the nigga is just gifted and make it sound stupid, but it comes out right every time. Let's try to use a little bit of it. So they'll try to use it. They say, oh, good God Almighty. We done punched this cracker in his gut off the Negro News. Right? You think the Chinese are not going to pay attention to it? They got an intelligence network here, right? Do you think before, when that, even way back when they had East Germany, when they had all of these places, you think nobody's going to pay attention if the United States if their main focus is the Negro, you think they're not going to find out what's so important about a nigger? Right? It's common sense. You look at what Putin said. Not only going in, but coming out. It's about time now, and kick behind, to pull back and laugh at. Don't pull like everybody. Just make a fool out of them. That's what Putin just did. How did you hear that? All you got to do is go back to the recordings, 3, 4, time before last. After they invaded and start whooping behind, then here comes other stuff. Okay, time to pull out so you don't get stuck in there. You did a good job. Just keep everybody there, and if they get out of line, then start whooping them again. And if they don't like it, just go home and push buttons and send stuff over there, right? Hey, the strategic alliance, Russia, Iraq, Iran, and Syria is the biggest game changer in modern history. It changed the whole thing in the Middle East. And Russia know it. That's why they're running everything. Russia is like us. They take a bad hand and made good off of it. They turn them 2 deuces into a royal flush. They playing it like they got all the cards. They playing it like they got no, we got 4 kings here. Only thing beat this is 4 aces. You can't have a royal flush because I got one of the kings. So you can't. You got to have 4 aces. I don't believe you got 4 aces.
Call your bluff.
Right?
Call your bluff.
We're bluffing them all the time. Right? And they win it. Tell the truth. You got to look at it like this every time they win. We have not lost any battle at all. The people thought it was a loss battle. You let people talk to you like that, of course. If you play the dust, you can't get mad at somebody. Here's a fool like Mukhtar. Mukhtar is the biggest fool in the world. And this is going to Oakland, by the way. Why would I get mad if Mukhtar has a sign on his head? I am here to make you mad. Everything I'm saying is a lie. You steal money from the Muslims. Everybody in D.C. know that we do, the khutbahs be about money. Well, you know, we're getting close to, we got the 10% rule. When we got $100,000, that means we're moving toward $1 million and we're comfortable with it. Why do we say, you remember that 10% rule? The rule is, if you have a dream of having $1 million, okay. If you ain't got nothing, it is absolutely a dream. It's a dream. But once you get to $100,000, that's 10% of that dream, right? Now it ain't, you chewing stuff now. You're not just talking. You know what I mean? Wait a minute. We almost there. You feeling like, shoot, we only got 9, we got 1 step in, we only got 9 more steps. We done already got the 1, so the other is automatic. Right? It's automatic. The first $1 million is the hardest to make. After that, they just roll in. Ask anybody that's got billions and billions. The first is the hardest to get. It took you 20 years to get $1 million. It took you another year to get took you only 1 year to get $2 million. Took you another year to get to $5 million. After you hit the $5 million, you got $40 million in the next 7, 8 years. The first one is the hardest. So we use the 10% rule when our friend that had helped us for years and needed money, we had saved about $50,000 at that time. $25,000 we had put aside, especially for him, because we know they're tricking and messing around. But we saved it specifically for him. But the way other people spend money is not the same. To us, $25,000, we have to sell bottle caps and everything. So to us, it's a nice piece of money. But $25,000, that's gone in a week. Good God Almighty. Well, we only got another 20. You could hear that too. And we had the card, the bank card. It said $581, and I was making a joke. I said, I ain't been that broke in history. You right? But we was right back, because Allah help you. If you do stuff, Mukhtar and them was talking about, you took the money to believers. I said, Mukhtar, I said, let me tell you something, dear fellow. This is January the 27th, 05. I say 17,000, 8,000, 19,000. So that's $48,000. I said, we brought that from D.C., buddy. That came from D.C. to pay y'all's taxes. And I just happened to run across a letter that said that they're going to sell our property. All that property we got out there, y'all ain't paid no taxes on it. I said, another tax the other day, I just paid that. And I said, you talk about what you did here. You ain't did nothing here. You lived at 8110 MacArthur Boulevard. All our property across the street and down the street, you moved to 66th Avenue. Then you moved to Berkeley. I said, you lying, sucker. I said, all the years you've been here, you came out here twice a week. One day to clean and pick up the mail for Juma, and the next day you came for Juma, and everybody else had keys, and they came in. And you never came here, and you even moved the phone to Berkeley. Right? 638-9541. I said, we got that since 1980. I said, you moved it on a computer or something out to Berkeley so nobody could call here. Your job was to make sure nobody could do nothing here. I said, y'all is the ones that's been, another little thing, just before we finish with them. Because somebody was telling my poor children the other day, Mommy has to pay all of the bills now. I said, Mommy paid the bills. This was just yesterday. Of course, Mommy, Abdul Malik, Mukhtar, and them. Look, this stuff is so ridiculous. Let's see what happened here. This is when Abdul Alim is supposedly shot. It's, let's see, what is this? Well, this is 4/13. And it says a meeting on the trail. That's in 4/18/2013. Abdul Malik meeting on the trail. I tried to talk him into doing something. Then on Juma, it says ran Abdul Malik's crew away. Their whole crew came to Juma that day, several years. It's about 3 years ago. And they came and they were just talking as crazy as you want. Now, they believe in peer group pressure, that all of them and you by yourself, they will make you buckle. They believe in it. That's what the white man told them. It don't work at all. But that's what they did. They came to the Masjid, all of them, all together. Then, I'm looking for the other side of this one right here. My grandson calls me. Right around here, 421, right. And then I come back to D.C. and I arrive here. Since I can't find the other piece of paper that has this one, I'll just go from right here because it's Abdul Alim, that's my grandson. I get here in D.C. at 10:15, okay? At 1:30, Khadija Mukhtar calls Sister Bahia and says, Abdul Alim, somebody in your family has been shot or killed. So, through my own methods, I called back out there, and don't nobody know nothing. That's at 1:30 D.C. time. So that means that has to be 10:30 Oakland time, 10:30 p.m. Oakland time, because it's 1:30 a.m. Now remember, I got back here on the 22nd at 10:15 p.m. So I get here, as soon as I lay down and get a little sleep, the phone rings and somebody says that Abdul Alim, this is the 23rd, and I put a question mark before it, and I have some other stuff written over here. I have anger, ghadab, that it's a lie, you know, I just wrote stuff like that. But I couldn't catch nobody, knew nothing about it. Then the message says that the police found his body at 6:15 a.m. on the 23rd. Now, that means that's 9:15 DC time. How could the niggas call at 1:30 a.m., right, and know that somebody has been shot unless they was there? Because nobody found his body. Said he found his body. I didn't see him die, so I don't know what the police be doing. How can these niggas here, how can Mukhtar have such a sophisticated network, right, that they can call Sister Bahia at 1:30 a.m., 10:30 p.m. Oakland time, right? They don't find the body till 6:15 a.m. Oakland time, 9:15 a.m. DC time. How can that happen? Unless the niggas that did it is standing there watching. And they can call, and I call out there, don't nobody know nothing. No, ain't nothing happening, it's fine. Why? Because don't nobody know nothing. That's the stuff they be playing with here. This is not a joke. You know what I mean? Then when they have all your male families are attacked, and the poor guy is laying there with 6 bullet holes in him. Technically, I don't know whether he was working with the police and they just operated on him like that and they just playing. I don't know. I know none of his behavior is correct. Why do I know that? I know that by their doggone behavior. My youngest son, last time he was here, we was working on back there, then he was working on that over there, and I had paying the bills, $979, and they're on a little table down there. You know, because I'm going to take them to the mailbox. Pretty soon they disappear. So I'm looking all around, where's the bills? You know what I mean? I got to put them in the mailbox. So I look all around, and I go to that garbage can that's on the green garbage can that's sitting right there. Dad, don't go over there, don't go over there. I said, oh, I'm just looking for the what's name. Dad, please don't go in there. So I said, man, I might as well look in here. And guess what I find in there? The doggone bills. That's what's in there. Okay. If my 2 sons stick with me like glue for the first part of their life, teenagers, and the police keep tricking them, and they step in every trap, pretty soon they're going to spend their life in jail. And the police is going to tell them, and when they get out, they're going to hook them on some old ugly girl and some crack. And I told them in the 80s, I said, the only way you guys are going to make it is live like me. I said, because the white man is using the same stuff on you and me that they use on the Soviet Union. That's what I told them in 84, 85, 86. But young kids not going to listen. But so 10 years they were doing good. They was going in and out of jail. Though. Pretty soon, you get to smoking that crack, you're going to change. You're not going to be no good, loyal, dutiful son anymore. And you get to snorting that heroin, you're going to have, your behavior's going to change. Who's the first house a heroin user break into? His mama's house. I was shocked at that when I was young. I said, man, so-and-so, my friend, started using heroin and he broke it. You know, that was unbelievable. How could somebody break into their mama's house? Well, they said, all heroin addicts do that. That's the first house they know where everything is at. So they burglarize their mama's house all the time. It's common. So, your family, when the government has 30-something years to work on this stuff, it's going to work it out. Now, the good thing about all of that is that all of my sons, my 2 sons, all their friends is dead. Been dead 30 years, 25, 30 years ago. Why? Because they lived in Oakland. It's just like D.C. growing up in the late 80s and the 90s. You are very lucky, right, as a teenager to get to be 25 years old. If you could pull that off, right, especially in the Southeast, you were on the money. You were very fortunate. You could get a ribbon, right? Because there wasn't nobody pulling that off hardly. They was knocking, hey, y'all remember, man, our kids was knocking each other over like flies. D.C., small as it is, 500, 480, 450 every year. Sometimes you look in the newspaper, 7 niggas shot in one night. You know, it was some news, they'd have a map of where the niggas are shot. Hey man, the police did my sons a favor by keeping them off the street, keeping them away from me. Because they were sharp. I'd take them all around the country, and they was helping. They helped open the Masjid. They was helping. They'd come back, man, all juiced up, traveling around the country, listening to motivational tapes. They'd be sharp for about a week or 2. But after mixing with them niggas another 2 weeks, boy, they would be dumb again. And we would talk about that. And every time they wanted to get their health back together, we'll go on a trip with you, Dad. I said, come on. They'd say it, and then the next day, before we leave, they'd arrest them and put them both in jail. I got that stuff recorded. That's what's been happening all along. But guess what? The police saved their life. One is 50 years old, the other is 46 years old. They're the only ones alive out of their crew. They're the only ones alive out of their crew, right? Now, we told them that is a blessing. What you got to do now, that Allah saved you. The police thought they was hurting you, but they saved your life. It's not mathematically possible the way y'all live. Because they lived a very,
dangerous life.
Man, they come running up to the masjid one night, knock. Dad, we left our stuff, man, and niggas is on us. So come on in. So I go under the pillow to get my stuff, and my other son then stole a doggone gun and sold it or something. I said, y'all come in here with the niggas on you, and I'm going to do my little protecting. Of course, I bluffed the guys. I walked all outside, back and forth, like I was packing, but they could have blown me away. One son had brought him and his crew, because they left home without their stuff, which they usually have. So y'all dummies is what y'all do, running up and down the street with nothing in Oakland? And then running to the masjid at 2 o'clock at night, and then your other brother that stole the doggone piece that I keep under the pillow? So man, y'all trying to get me killed. Y'all gonna, as soon as them niggas leave, you gotta get out of here. Don't come back no more till you bring me something to protect myself. You bring the niggas to blow up the place, and the other niggas steal a gun. And y'all all in the same family. And they all part of my friends, my sons are friends of my friends. They all, this is a generational thing. I said, I don't want you niggas around here no more. Unless you get me something to protect myself. Don't come running around here and jump over a fence or stay strapped. But don't come by here want me to walk out there bluffing them niggas. That's what they was doing in Oakland. And the police will take advantage of them. Because remember, Negroes are basically stupid. If the white man builds a trap, the Negro will run and dive into it. It don't make no difference what you say. And then the white man will give him a way out of it. Just turn your daddy in, and that's what, you know, like I told Mukhtar man when he was acting a fool, talking loud. And you said that about your poor son. I said, I suppose sons is the police. I said, these boys is acting stupid. I said, you're all in this together. What are you talking about? This is all of them tapes you hear. I'm telling you, this stuff is intact and serious. And it always has been. And all the stuff that we're going to tell in Oakland, we're going back to the 60s. Like we got this stuff on the government, we had it on then. But then we were selling dope and nobody want to listen. Just like that movie, Kill the Messenger. He got a dope list and all his witnesses. I got the same list 20-some years before him. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, just like the Quran say about Moses. Moses asked for a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and Allah said, you got that covered, but hey, I've had you covered all along. Because I brought you up under my own eyes. That's what Allah said. I brought you up under my own eyes, and now here you are for my service. That's the way we have to look at Islam. The other thing is, during this time, this is not the other periods. So if anybody want to collect a paycheck, this is not the time. No, I'm going to tell you. We had our friends stroll in from Carolina. And the phony Shia brothers. The next day, his daughter is found in a lake somewhere. I don't know if y'all remember. And they looking at me like they understand why this happened. Another brother got his, go to his car shop, he got the FBI there, and they standing there together looking at me like saying, yeah, we work together. And 2 days later, the plane crashed and killed his family. Okay, they don't make nothing of that stuff. They don't make no connections. They don't make this stuff, man, the list is so long, it's unbelievable. So I tell people, like right now, okay, don't play around this go around, because you see, this is a different level. And I had some of the stuff wrote down about so many things. Coincidence been happening, and they're not coincidence. And we not doing nothing to nobody. I keep one of these all the time, all around. I'm gonna read just what it says from the Quran. I might as well read the whole, but mainly what I want to talk about is right here, what are these 5 or 6 stars, but I'll read the other anyway. And so it's saying, herein, behold, there are messages indeed for all who are wholly patient in adversity and deeply grateful to Allah. Or else he may cause them to perish because of what they have wrought. And he pardons much. And let them know, those who call our messages in question, that for them there is no escape. And remember that whatever you are given now is but for the passing enjoyment of life in this world, whereas that which is with Allah is far better and more enduring. It shall be given to all who attain to faith and in their sustainer place their trust, and who shun the more heinous sins, that is, khaba'ir, those are big sins, and admonitions, and who, whenever they are moved to anger, readily forgive. and who respond to the call of their sustainer and are constant in prayer, and whose rule in matters of common concern is consultation amongst themselves, amruhu shura bainahum, and who spend on others out of what we provide for them, for sustenance, and who, whenever tyranny afflicts them, they defend themselves, whenever they are challenged by. But remember, and that's what I put down here, this is for myself, but remember that an attempt at requiting evil may too become an evil. That means, to me it means, be careful about solving these deadly problems. We leave them to Allah. Because if we do them ourselves, what we're doing may become an evil themselves. We don't know the weaknesses and the stupidity of people. You see what I mean? We're not qualified to judge in those matters unless we happen to be a judge and somebody commits a crime and they bring it to us. But in general matters, we have to stand up for ourselves. We do that all the time. But we're not going to let no small-time Negroes provoke us into doing nothing. Especially when Allah, like he said to Moses, don't you know I've been at your back all the time? You think you could have pulled all this stuff off by yourself? Are you crazy? That's basically what it sounds like Allah is saying to Moses. You ain't got enough sense to pull this stuff off. I hooked you up from day one. I'm the one who told your mother to do this. You think you're going to get picked up by your enemy and my enemy, and they coddle you and warm you and snuggle you, and then they take you back to your own mama? You think you could have did that? To cool her eyes?
He knows what's happening.
He don't even, and then you think you can kill somebody and run off and act a fool, and then they throw the case out of court? And then somebody that's from Pharaoh's house come telling you, man, they just had a meeting on you. Over there, you better cut. Then he run off because somebody in the crew. You think he could have hooked all that up? Couldn't have did it? Same thing with us. That's the way we have to look at our mission. This is not a time to play with Islam because Allah, look, as the time is getting more critical, then all this stuff that be happening, it'd be, hey man, think about anybody who's ever been here. Think about the very first crew over there on 16th Street. Where are they now? Some of them are right there. They're gone. What are they done? What about the other little dark Negroes? Of course, all is dark. They were darker than me. What about them little old coons over there? Right? Where are they at now? They leave, they run off. What about the FBI police, the naval intelligence Negroes? There's been so many crews, you got to remember. Where's Rashid, his daughter? Where's all those skiskelham them? That's the way the nigga says, Rabbana lakalham. I said, skiskelham. It's Rabbana lakalham. But what happened to the crew? We having a meeting. They bring their whole crew intact and you be by yourself. That's the way it's been. That's the way it's been. From California to here, it's been like that. They come, we have a meeting, you know them big green ledgers? So they say, no, we want to take the money out of the box, count it, and then we'll give it to you. After we write it ourselves. So the next week I brought my little notebook. You know, I have these notebooks that has exactly the money and everything. You know, every day I do that. You know, that's why the other day, yesterday, my poor daughter said, yes, since the people mess with you, Mommy has to pay all the bit. I said, Mommy, do what? What's that? So what did you say? I was running. So I was burning up. Good thing you get time. I delay. I get time to, instead of running the rest of the way, I just walked. I said, I'm going to just get home. I'm going to get my little bug. And I'm going to show my poor daughters that mama is the police, and all them other niggas that they know is the police, including the family and everybody else. So I said, sweetheart, they said they pay the bills. I said, let me see here. I said, this is going backwards here. I said, see this right here? So forget about this stuff. I said, that's the 15th. That's a couple of days ago. This is the 20th. I said, you see that? This is taxes. I had paid one ahead, 7 of them. One of them we didn't have to pay because I had doubled last year. I said, this is $5,401 that I had to pay. That's the other day. I said, that's what Daddy paid. I said, forget about today. That's the 7. Yesterday, that's little old Comcast. I said, that's just for the Masjid. Comcast, $89. That ain't nothing. I said, but if we go back a couple of days more, I'll see your poor daddy just paid Pepco bill. I said, the Pepco bill is $630 because we use electricity, we don't use gas. I said, that's the house. I said, you know where y'all be cozy? And I'll be downstairs with my coat on. Y'all be up here with heaters blasting in your face. I said, I don't live like that. Y'all do. I said, that's why the Pepco bill is $630. So the daddy paid that. I said a little old bill around the corner, $60, a little washing the gas to Masjid, $227. I said, that ain't nothing. I said, your dear daddy paid that. I said, now don't talk about the first of the month bills. The date is off here, but it's right at 34. So this means this is on the 3rd. DC water, 1, 2, 3, 268 water. Sprint. I say, we got 4 phones on that. Y'all got phones, you got gadgets, you know what I mean? I said, that don't cost a whole lot, $300 and something. Because we got 4 phones on it and they push every button on it. I don't do nothing but call. You can't call, you ask me to text. I don't do that. I said, I said, that's the first of the month bills. I said, that came to $1,500. I said, the other bills, I said, that means that your daddy done probably paid $3,000 in bills this month, plus the taxes. I said, that's 8 almost. I said, your daddy might have spent, if you look at everything, they spent $10,000 in the last few weeks. I said, so who told you they was paying some bills around here? Well, Mommy said, I said, Mommy is the police. What are you talking about? Mommy is hooked up with Abdul Malik. That was Abdul Malik's wife. Abdul Malik tried to marry her to me for years. So when I finally married her, I knew if I told him in '87 he's the police, he gonna send me a police. If everybody in Oakland, if I leave Oakland in '89, my state is full of people, especially Iranians, and in 3 months, all the Iranians is gone because he run them off. And they told me I got a munafik. I said, don't worry, we got it covered. They couldn't understand what we were doing. We let them do everything they did. That was the job. Just like, for the last 5 years, I've been dealing with the stuff about, my poor daughters and all of that, Well, I knew this day was going to come. It's going to come. But you want to make the kids are not responsible for dumb parents. But you want to get them old enough that now they're responsible. If they jump on their mama's side, I said them niggas can kill, they can do anything. I said, oh, no. Ain't nobody going to stay around here doing that. So I was telling the sister, you got another little week or 2 or something, you got to pack up and get out. You're not staying around here and laugh when them niggas do something in Oakland and call them and congratulate, and they call you and congratulate themselves, and all of it is on the phone. It said, this is a phone from California, calling there, and I know who everybody's number is, and y'all congratulating each other and laughing. See, you're going to have to get out of here with that stuff. That is war. You have to figure out the battlefield. And we figured out that battlefield decades ago. It's not bad. It's good to know the battlefield that you're on. That's why we don't get upset with nothing they do in Oakland. Why? Because they are government agents. Now everybody know they're agents. Because everybody's legal, right? I ain't come to nobody. How you gonna come and shoot dogs and do it? I can't even tell you the stuff that they do in Oakland because it would sound like I'm a crybaby over and over again. But everybody knows that was our job. That was our blessing. This is not a problem, it's a blessing, right? You can't talk crazy to no white folks and Zionists and you ain't gonna have no fight. You're going to have the hardest fight you can have. But here's what Allah do for you. Allah makes the fight easy. Since don't nobody try it, they don't know, right? But you can study people to see whether they're having tension, whether they're having stress, right? You can study people kind of the way their eyes be twitching, the way they don't make no jokes, you know what I mean? All that stuff, right? And you can tell whether they're at peace, too. You can tell whether they're at peace. What I'm trying to say is this, and this is technically supposed to be made for Oakland, is that Oakland will become the tip of the spear of Islamic revival in the United States with Allah's permission. That's what we want to do. That's what it was. That's our duty. You know, if Allah do all what he said for Moses, save you from everybody else. You know, when you read about California history and the struggle, technically, literally every one of those guys are friends of mine, even if if we met in the penitentiary. Whether it's a bunch of Carter and them that were shot by us, Ron Karinga and them, on UCLA campus in '69, whether it's George Jackson, an acquaintance, Fleeta Drungo, Soledad Brothers, my best friend, I don't care. Billy Christmas shot in the San Rafael shootout, must have been in '70. All of those people, if Allah keep me alive through all of that, okay, I got a job to do. Allah took them at that time, maybe before they even came to Islam, but Allah knew when he took them, right? Allah knew when he took them. We still have our job and our responsibility. So if these stupid white folks think they're going to pull off something and scare you about, we'll do this to your family, they ain't going to do nothing to nobody. Number one, by taking the niggas to penitentiary, he saved their life. Right? By scrambling up my daughters and having them on the mother's side, I'm home free. They ain't gonna do nothing to them because they with the dummies. Right? They with the dummies.
Dummy protection.
Right? It's that if I could work on them and get them to come with me, take notes, write, you notice they gotta be with their mama. If you set the table, remember how good all my daughters, we got along, I fixed the table for Fatima, I fixed it before for Sakina, and now they won't come to nothing. Why? Because their mama and them could have told them the big lie, which they tell your family. If you want to save your daddy's life, you cooperate because he'll get himself killed. That's the way they act like what they've been told. You know. And they'll do that. That stuff works on women. Hey, man. I remember the FBI came to my mama and they told her the truth. They was telling her, oh, see, if you help us, we just want to keep him safe. You know what my daddy told her? They wasn't lying. They want to keep him safe in the penitentiary. They want you to help them keep your son safe in the penitentiary. Your mama wants you safe. Your daddy wants you free. Right? Your daddy wants you free. Your mama wants you safe. No matter, please don't kill my baby. That's the whole song of black women, isn't that right? Security. Keep the nigga safe. My daddy said, yeah, they wasn't lying. They want him safe in Leavenworth somewhere, in the penitentiary. That's where they want to put your boy. You cooperate with them crackers. He had enough sense to know. But it's normal. So they'll tell your girl, daughters, you see all of this stuff. They can't hide it. You see all of this stuff? Like Fatima was saying, if you was important, Daddy, that they would kill you. I say, whoever told you that's damn fool. I say, if they would kill me, if Allah wasn't protecting me, and they would kill me if I hadn't made protection on myself. Red Load talks for the last 15 years talking about this cracker, pointing out everything. If he blink his eye, he did this. If he blinked the other one, he did that. Where's the khutbah's been for the last 15 years? Specifically that. Why? Because we knew we was going to get to this point. I'm going to move toward a close, but the point is this, dear believers. This is the big one. This is bigger than the other ones before. Ain't no way we get here on nigger business. Ain't no nigga can pull on this stuff off. Either, now tomorrow I'm going to say to the white man, I'm doing this. Yes, the nigga's smarter than you crackers, and I'm going to make fun of him. That's for the white man. The Negroes have to know that Islam is real, and there are certain times when you don't play with it. This is not the time to get a little extra money on nothing, a little extra, star by the name. This is not the time. This is the time to be genuine. There's one little escape hatch, though. We used to use the 10% rule. We used to say, just help us 10%. Just go on and tell the white man whatever you want to tell him. Not y'all, but I'm saying what we used to tell people. No, we used to tell people that. But this time, we asking for 20% help. Here's why. Just give the Negro a breather. Just say, make a bet with yourself. I think that nigga is lying. He's just full of jive. So I'm going to give him 20% help. The white man ain't going to know. The white man don't know. The white man don't know nothing unless we tell him. The white man don't know unless we tell him. Here's what we do. We get our check. We work grinning for that cracker. We say, I'm going to see if this nigga got any sense. I'm going to give him just a little help on the side, and that's it. White man ain't going to know. He ain't going to know. It ain't going to hurt nobody. Just let's see if we can. Because, see, remember, his days is numbered anyway. You can read history. Everybody can read history. Everybody knows he's going somewhere. Right? He's going somewhere. So what we should do, it goes back to our history, dear believers. This white man is the meanest creature in global history. How he treats people. Okay. Now, here, we have did absolutely nothing but try to help. Everybody, there ain't nobody ever came here that lost 10 or 15 pounds. They might have left with their jaws all puffed out, right? Like a chipmunk or something, but they ain't left here all skinny and poor from giving us no money, right? Ain't nobody left here that they left, we did such hard work and Imam Musa spent all the money on himself. It ain't nothing like that ever happened. So, this wanting to do good comes from this. I'm telling you, a lot of people got the same message. A lot of people got the same message. The only difference, I'm telling you, so you know, between me and my friends is, okay, I'm going to try it. Something, I don't know what it was, I tried it, and it worked. And now, when I talk about it, it sounds easy. It actually Well, actually, life right now is easier than I ever thought. This stuff sounds, people pulling guns and say, that sounds difficult. It is not difficult at all. You study people and you pay attention to their movements, their speech and everything and see if they really at ease. You know what I mean? Study, pay attention. What I'm saying, and I'll close with this, we read up on history is on our side. The people of the world, like this masjid is known around the world. I was telling, my daughter was saying, Daddy, don't nobody know you. You don't have 2, 3 people down there. I said, that's right. I said, well, what about the people around the world? Somebody praying for us, right? Somebody holding us up. I say, this stuff is Malcolm X reloaded. I said, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King never got anywhere close to this type of stuff. They didn't give them time. They killed them right away. They were all victims. They never got a chance to slap the white man around. I said, we've been slapping this cracker around for a good 20 years easy. And we've been tricking him before that. I said, we actually doing him no harm. He ain't doing us no harm. None at all. He's doing us a favor. If anyone ever wanted to be on the right side of history, they would be on this side. If they had any gift, they would add it to the pot. If they wanted to get a little salary on the side, that's okay. That's okay. People always support governments more than they do individuals. That's just people are pro. That's why governments get away with what they want. People will support the power. The power looks permanent. If you work for a company, remember you was the union rep, right? What do people? They talk gangster talk in the bathroom and on the line, and they'll send you in there, go in there and tell them white folks, we wrong. Right? Well, you knew you had more sense to know better because they wasn't going, but you look around, you ever found anybody there?
That's why I know what you're talking about, not on the level that you're on.
Right.
But I know what you mean by being the target.
Yeah,
that's
being
what
the
I
target.
became because of
Yes.
that position.
Yeah.
It all fell on me. I couldn't find no, except for my boy.
Right.
He supported me, but other than that, nah, man.
Hey,
They respect
man.
their power.
Every right, you know what I mean? But it's all been when I think about this stuff, and I will close eventually, I'll definitely close sooner or later, even before the lights go out. But it was a riot in the penitentiary in '64 in the field house. So, but I was wondering all the time in the little jails, I was always the one going to the hole all the time. Well, I was just one of them silly young niggas that just like attention. So I would do anything to get attention, and that usually meant going against the teacher or the officer or something, you know, the system. Not against, I couldn't get no attention just whooping a little Negro around, so I was always, I guess that's the way I was. Not like Trump, but I just liked attention. So I always had to mess with the system, so they would always handcuff me, take me on the little hole. So when they had to ride in the field house, this was early in the winter of '64, I was supposed to go home a month later. And I had accepted this black man as God, white man as devil stuff, but I wasn't really steeped in it, but a few months, you know. So they had to ride in the field house, and they got a boxing ring, a movie screen, and they got other big fences, and they got all the iron pile, you know, a field house, a big outdoor, indoor gymnasium, like big, huge place. So we watching the movie and the ride start, and like any fool, they got my homeboy Ducky, he's from San Francisco. You know, one of them cool niggas in the pen. He's just so cool, he can't get his hands dirty. He's our friend, but he was just cool. One of them San Francisco Negroes. So the white boys jump on him, and he's up there with Charlie Choo Choo Johnson, the heavyweight champion of the penitentiary, the toughest nigga, Sacramento Black, we used to call him. He was a tough customer, played football. You know, one of them short, low niggas is just stocky, a big behind, and look like he can't hardly walk, but he's one of them fast, you know, football players. And a boxer, he was a heavyweight champion, and he didn't do nothing. So I jumped up on the boxing ring. I don't know, I guess it was a shaitan or something. I said, charge! You know, they used to have that saying, charge, San Diego Chargers or something. So we got Ducky off the thing. Then the white boys wasn't paying no attention to that. They run and got the iron pile. Now we all youngsters, weightlifters. This is a gladiator school. That's what we do there. We fight and all that. That's what they did. So the white boys got the iron pile. And so we run over to rush them, and the white boys start throwing all the iron at us. So without knowing without really planning it out, we would run up to them, and they'd throw the iron at us, and we'd run back. Well, the dumb crackers, after about a minute and a half, the white boys had threw all the iron to us. Hadn't hit nobody. And we all niggas over there lifting 400 pounds on the bench, 450. So a 35-pound dumbbell is like a little rock or something. And we whooped them white boys to death. But it was a good day. You know, all of a sudden, Brother Farouk was showing my sons in the penitentiary. Brother Farouk and me was some of the only Negroes that wound up in the hole. They took my date and everything. I had to stay there another year. It was the best blessing I ever had. If I would have went home in '64 when I was supposed to, I'd have went out hanging on the corner, drinking wine like everybody else. When I come home, I'm steeped in teachings. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do nothing. And the people don't eat pork, and all my friends, well, let me just feel you don't eat no pork? Nope. Let me see if you're real, nigga. You ain't smoking no, I don't smoke. Well, we used to drink that wine, white poured lemon juice, you know, I don't drink that wine, that white man, poisonous, that pluck. Didn't drink no wine. You got to remember, in 1965, this was totally abnormal. But the white man had gave me another year, he saved my life. Everything that they're doing has been a lifesaver. All the time, going into exile, I can talk to people anywhere in the world. Why? Because a white man run me off from here for a while. So I say, hey man, you look like you from Somalia. Yes, I'm from Somalia. You know, when I was in East Africa, the Somalis you know, the people over here think about Somalis as poor people. But in East Africa, Somalis control all the lorries, you know, all the trucking trade, all up and down the coast. That's right, you was there. I said, yeah, man, Dar es Salaam, Mombasa in Kenya, all of my homeboys. I said, my hustling buddy was Congo Slim. His name was really Hossein, but we used to call him Congo Slim. If they think about it, Congo Slim, he spoke Italian colony. He spoke French, the Congo. He spoke Somali and then Arabic mixed with it. And he spoke English. I said, this man was a scholar. He spoke 4 languages fluently. And you know what he asked me one time? He says, Mr. Hank, how about your family? I said, yeah, I know my family back, grandparents, stuff. He says, I know my family 30 generations back. And he says, my rest of my family, I mean the religious people in my family, they know 60 generations of their family. He felt sorry for me. I said, well, that's the way it is in America. I said, I'm lucky. I know back to 1800. The other niggas know back to 1950, 45. That's far as they can go. But anyway, they're believers. But when you get tuned into the deen, Allah protects you from everything. I'm telling you. And life can get Quranic. Just like what the Quran say, that can really happen. That stuff where you, no fear come upon you, nor shall you grieve. You don't have no anxiety. Seek that refuge, anxiety and grief, lack of strength and laziness. All of that stuff. Allah do that. Allah do that. And all we have to do is, we don't know what Allah have written for us. But one thing about it, if we do 10% of what Allah wants, hey man, remember, I say that from the hadith, because it said in the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, if you practice 10% of your religion, if you miss 10% of it, you'd be finished, because you had the Prophet with you. That's what it means, I believe. He said, but there'll come a time when if you can practice 10% of your religion, you'll be saved. And at that time, it'll be like holding a hot coal in your hand. That's the time now. The Muslims are scared to death. So all we got to do, think about it, is practice 10. But you know, the Negro going to add another 10. That's why I said just 20%. Now, ask yourself, wouldn't you want to kick the crack in his behind? Just psychologically, not physically. Remember, we're not going to become brutes. Not on your life, we're not going to become brutes. But wouldn't you like to psychologically slap this cracker upside his head for all the wrong that he's been doing and that he's doing now? The lives he's destroying. He only destroys lives. He only destroys countries. And if we don't stop him soon, you won't be able to breathe no air. You leave it up to him, he'll cut down every tree he can find.
You already can't drink the water.
You can't, hey man, I'm telling you, this boy right here makes Pharaoh look like a nice guy. Because Pharaoh just worked you a little hard, but he didn't mess up everything. Right? This boy here, anyway, we thank you very much, dear believer. This is a different time that we're living in. Let's ask Allah to help us participate in this. This is a team effort. This is not individual efforts when, my opinion is if everybody help is fine. If everybody don't make me no difference. I'm going to do my part. Because I know the blessings in this. I'm telling you, every doer, the doers we make are like the doers that other guys make over there at Dal Hitcher. It's this ritual, I would think that representing God is greater. I'm mumbling. But Allah give it to you. Everything we ask Him to do, now we ask Him for real. Oh Allah, you know the old fella, you created him. Can you help us please neutralize this cracker? Yeah, we ask Allah. It ain't hard. Oh Allah, help us neutralize it. Help him stop this murder. Help us have a world that would be pleasing to you. Help us make a world that Jesus, Muhammad, and Moses would all be proud of. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Okay. Thank you very much. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم.